Hello and welcome back. My name is Josh, and today I want to do another video on Miso Robotics. If you haven't seen my other ones, they're over here. The funding actually for this closed, but I am very intrigued by this business, and I keep going back and forth on, should I have invested, should I not? I still think there's a lot of risk here, and I have some thoughts. I love the idea. Love the idea. So if you did invest, I love the idea. The total addressable market is huge. It's brilliant. I do think we're going to see a lot of change in the restaurant industry. I'm just not sure this is the right way that we're going to see it. So, but I did want to look over one of their videos and give my commentary on it as it goes. So let's watch.
We all grew up on the joys of fast food. The good food made fast and affordable.
One other thing, I actually barely had fast food growing up. I so this is maybe another reason it didn't exactly speak to me, but I love a McFlurry, but other than that, I don't think I've ever had McDonald's.
Are all part of what made these American institutions. But times are changing,
The pandemic has flipped the restaurant industry upside
and
down.
we're looking for our
And the
savior
number of workers is down by 35%.
to take us back to the glory days of
I will note that is again the number one bullish reason, and I love that they point out is because wages are going up. When wages go up, it makes the cost of software that much uh, of a better alternative because software keeps going down and wages keep going up. We used to have uh, typewriters and secretaries, and now everyone just has their own computer because it's now much cheaper than. Can you imagine hiring someone to just type out every word you thought? Like you can just talk to text now. So again, I this is the most bullish reason is because if wages keep going up, there's definitely going to be changes, and that is why I'm bullish on the industry. But we'll see if I'm bullish on the idea.
I
fast.
wouldn't say back or even glory days.
Well, what would you say?
It's about the future of fast food. Hi, I'm Mike Bell, CEO of Miso Robotics, and we're using robotics and AI to help usher in the future of fast foods. Commercial kitchens, when you look at these kitchens across the United States, you see operations based on manual tasks and outdated technology. So that means people are performing lots of repetitive and robotic tasks.
Ha, was that pun intended?
Yes, it was.
So robots, I get it, but how are
Okay, so he mentioned there humans doing robotic tasks. I actually want to use an analogy of Tesla. So Tesla, when they first started, what they did, their first car, they actually took a Lotus Elite, I believe that's the name of the car, which is another car brand. So they took the body, the chassis, all that, and they basically put the body of the car on a what I'll call a skateboard. It's basically a framework. It was like it was the suspension, and they slapped on the suspension a bunch of batteries, and they tried to make an existing car work with battery technology, and they found it was way more expensive because they had to make all these adjustments to the chassis, to the seats, to the car, because it didn't work. So they tried to use an old technology, which was the existing car technology, existing car platform, and make this new technology, battery technology, work within it. They said it's not working. They said the car was the biggest pain. It was money losing, terrible. So with the next car, what they did is they built from the ground up. They said, you know what? These old technologies work with internal combustion engines, but with the new technology um, like EVs, we need to build the car around the elements of the EV. The fact that there is no transmission or motor, it's a motor, not an engine, all these things. So they built the car differently, and it was way cheaper actually to build it from the ground up based on that. And this is kind of a theory I have with Miso Robotics, is that Miso Robotics is using robots built around automating human things things that were designed for humans. So you're fitting just like how Tesla was trying to make the old technology, the ICE car, like the existing car, work with batteries. I think the future is more restaurants that are built from the ground up based on robotics. So rather than a robotic arm that flips the burgers for you and lifts up the fries, maybe the whole thing is just a different machine, a machine that doesn't have an arm, which is, again, why would an arm be the most natural thing? Maybe the most natural thing is if you've ever seen how it's made, you see these giant machines that do a million things. And you don't really see many like arms doing it. An arm is trying to replicate a human motion. There are other motions that could make this much more effective. So maybe it's if you've ever seen like a pizza, it's like some of these places do a pizza on a conveyor belt. having a robot arm flip the pizza and turn it and all that. They're saying let's use robots from the ground up. And I think that is a much more sustainable model to build. And we've seen some companies that do that where they are a fully robotic salad company or something like that. Let's finish the video, but I will try and find a video also on the robotic restaurants that I'm a big fan of.
Are you recreating that magic of what fast food was?
Pretty simple. We build robots to do robotic work and let people do people work. The fryer is one of the toughest positions to build. You got splattering oil, 20, 30 degrees hotter standing behind that fryer than in the rest of the kitchen. What we ended up developing in Cliffy was really a collaboration between kitchen workers and our engineering product team. Workers who used to be working the grill, working in the kitchen, are now working the kitchen but getting trained in robotics technology at the same time.
That I'm not so sure about either. The fact that kitchen workers now being trained in robotics engineering, yeah, that sounds like a bit of a stretch. But yeah, I do think that it'll be good for food safety if this is successful.
And that's a skill that they can take with them for the rest of their lives.
Wow, that sounds impressive.
I'm also impressed by how cool it is.
You think franchise owners can afford this?
I can answer that. This is a huge addressable market. We're talking over 250,000 QSRs in the US alone. And yes, many of them are struggling. Cash flow is an issue. So we had to develop.
I'm actually not as sure about that. Some of them are, but like these massive brands, Chipotle is doing better than ever, McDonald's doing better than ever. The local guys are the ones that are struggling because they're the ones that are most reliant on foot traffic and kind of a local kind of just that they're one-offs. If you're a massive brand, you have technology. McDonald's has an app. They can push, hey, 50 cents off. They do delivery. They do all this. So the big guys are not struggling at all. They're actually gaining market share. And I think that you are going to see a collapse in the small guy. Local restaurants, I think, are going to do poorly. And I think chain restaurants, unfortunately, are going to do better. Though I also think there's room in the market for making technology, great technology available to local restaurants like Toast, which is like a CRM for restaurants. It does other things too, but I think there is going to be a lot of technology geared towards restaurants because I think there is a lot of change going on in the restaurant world, but I'm not sure all of them are struggling. But there is no doubt there's a lot of them, and they do need to catch up to the 21st century.
A RaaS model, which stands for Robots as a Service. We charge a monthly service fee, so restaurants don't have to pay any upfront costs. Their monthly fees go towards the equipment, the software, and allows our team to stay engaged with the staff, train them on robotics, and here.
One more note, I think, again, the management team, I really like what they're saying. I really like what they're doing. I agree. Big TAM, they are solving a problem. Macro tailwinds behind them. I think there's going to be change in this industry for sure. And I think that model, the robot as a service, probably makes sense. Again, it might be difficult for them, but for the restaurant owner, it's going to be difficult to be like, yeah, I'll pay $1 million up front for a robot. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. So it makes sense as a service. And as a service, companies are valued higher. However, big warning sign, a lot of companies now throw as a service onto everything, transportation as a service, workspace as a service, and it's a big sign of bullshit. Again, SaaS, software as a service, is a real thing. All these other as a services, typically when you hear that, it's not saying that it's not good, but it's typically a sign that they're going for a higher valuation. And again, I want to note, I really like what Miso Robotics is doing, and I really do wish them the best of luck. But my big problem was I found the valuation was off. I found they were raising money at a pretty high valuation with lots of dilution, so lots of risk on the valuation. And again, I'm by nature, I like to be conservative and make sure I'm downside protected, and this is a risky investment. But again, management is spot on in their thinking of how this is the right way to go. Again, are they going to have the funding if they're building a robot for $1 million and they're selling and they're only getting $1,000 a month back, or 10,000, whatever it is? Are they going to have the funding to build enough robots to sell more people? Aren't they going to have to raise money, which means that they have more interest expense? So there are issues with this from their end, but I think it's an interesting model for the business owners, for the restaurant owners.
How we can improve our technology so they can focus on more important tasks for their business.
I get it. So robots can do the robot work, and people can
Do the people work.
Like taking orders with a smile and delivering it to them personally. To me, these are the things that made fast food great to begin with. The attention.
Same thing with the healthcare industry. I think that there's the industry where humans are going to have the most is growth, like the least risk of automation is where there's the most human-to-human interaction. Yes, when you're not dealing with the food, and so the food can be automatically made, or a robot can scan a diagnostic and determine whether it's in healthcare, is this cancerous or not. But the human to human, I think nurses is a really field that's projected to grow a lot because people still need that human to human connection. Same with, it might seem silly, but delivering food with a smile, I think it does make a difference than if it was a robot. Some people like it, but I think there's something to be said for human interaction.
To detail and a people-focused experience. So our goal is to bring restaurants into this future.
Well, there you have it. Well, not the saviors, but the guides to help bring us into a new era. Filled with everything we love and more than we expected.
Again, great video. I think they hit the nail on the head on a lot of things where I really do think that there is change in the future of restaurants and industrial kitchens. So I am very following this closely, but in my mind, the more likely one might be robotic restaurant. I don't know if I even spelled that right. I'm a terrible speller. Here you go. Burgerbot. So this is, let's ignore this. Well, at least it's cooking related. Okay.
But specifically, it's making it hard for restaurant workers to even have a place to live here. So people are edging out into the surrounding areas. 300.
Look at this Burgerbot here. This burger machine is not built, it's not an arm that moves one thing to the other that's trying to replicate human interaction. It's built from the ground up saying, how would you automate burger creation? So let's watch this video.
Might impact the future of how we order food.
So Creator's a new type of restaurant, one that has one of the most advanced culinary instruments. So this baby back there, it makes literally the freshest burger ever. We slice tomatoes, pickles, onions, the bun to order, but my favorite part actually grinds the meat to order, which means we make an amazing burger and it's $6.
This robot.
Again, if they automate it, they can lower the cost of the burger and make it more affordable and also have a smaller footprint and more local. So I really do think there is going to be automation in this. I just don't think it's coming from the Miso robotic side. I think it's coming from this side, and I think the companies that are going to buy this up, in my mind, is the Ubers and the DoorDashes. Right now, Uber and DoorDash, it's the user, when you're looking to order food, Uber Eats or DoorDash are like the go-to ones that you're going to. But why wouldn't they, just like how Amazon is the kind of the platform for shopping, and so Amazon then saw what is the most popular categories, and then they created their own in-house brands, so, Amazon Basics, and now they also have, they might have a brand for jeans, just like how Walmart and Target create their own in-house brands because they say, hey, we can make all the margins instead of carrying someone else's brand. I see the same thing happening here. Uber Eats is going to start buying up these machines to automatically make burgers and then have those burgers on their platform, and they're going to be able to list them higher because they're going to make more margin when they sell their own burgers than someone else's. So I do think there's going to be automation in the food industry. I just think it's coming more from this direction, and I think it's also not coming from individual restaurants. I think they're a little bit at risk. Not all of them. Some of them are going to do really well, but I think there is going to be lots of change in the restaurant industry.
Robot isn't what I had imagined. Instead of a mechanical arm flipping burgers as we've seen in the past,
just like Miso, instead of, let's watch that one.
What I had imagined. Instead of a mechanical arm flipping burgers as we've seen in the past, Creator has built a 14-foot all-in-one burger machine that uses 350 sensors and 20 computers. It takes 5 minutes to make a burger start to finish. And with 2 machines, the Creator team can make 130 burgers per hour here at their first location.
I have no idea how that compares to McDonald's, 130 burgers an hour. I mean, does it sound like a lot? I'm not sure. But 5 minutes a burger does sound a little long, but again, I'm not sure. But again, this is kind of newer technology, and I think it's only going to improve. And again, I think the key is you're building it from the ground up based around automation instead of saying, let's take an old existing restaurant layout that's built for humans and throw a robot in there. That does not seem like the most forward-thinking way. So this has just been my recap, I guess, a bit on Miso Robotics. Again, love the idea. I think there's tons of change going into the industry of quick service restaurant, but like I'm staying away. Like I also made a video on Sweet Green if you want to watch that. They recently IPO'd, and again, I kind of had the same thing where I was like, yeah, it could be interesting, but I think there's just a lot of risk, and the stock popped day one, and I just said I'm staying away. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know on what your thoughts are. Do you own any food or restaurant stocks? Did you invest in Miso Robotics? Let me know in the comment section below, as well as if you have any other ideas you want me to make videos on. So thanks so much for watching, and talk to you next time. Cheers.